What's going on there, guys? We back with another one, and today we got to talk about James Harden and his struggles with the Los Angeles Clippers so far. Now, there's many different theories on this. My personal opinion, I feel like when you have too many offensive players, that's what they've been known for throughout their career, and you have too many players that normally have the ball in their hands, then you may have some issues on offense and how it will flow. It's not as easy as just putting top level scorers on the same team and you just win basketball games. Now Harden forced his way out of Philly, and since he left, Tyrese Maxey has been flourishing. The development we saw prior to Harden's arrival in Philly, Tyrese Maxey has picked that back up. It was kind of stagnated just from the nature of their games. You know, Tyrese likes to have the ball and be able to play make, but Harden took all of that away from him, so he just had to pick his spots. Now, Maxey still played well, but you see where he's flourishing now. But Harden and the Clippers have yet to win a game together. They have moved Kawhi to the 4, and I think it is just a disaster. Now, Gilbert Arenas' argument is that this didn't just start with Harden. They have been dysfunctional. I don't know if he's talking about from the beginning of this season or since they've started this Clippers experiment. So we're going to check out what he had to say, and I'll be back.
Man, Clippers suck, man. Are we gonna
just gonna go ahead?
No.
Just put it out there.
Clippers was sorry before. No, we're not gonna blame
Time out, Gil.
No, we're
Time
not
out.
blaming. We're
Go
not
ahead and
blaming
break the ice,
James. We're not gonna blame James.
We're not gonna blame James.
Nah, we're not gonna blame him.
Clippers
Not at all.
sorry.
Not at all.
They
We're
were
not gonna
sorry
blame James.
before he got
Oh, no, it ain't
there.
James' fault.
No, it ain't.
It ain't solely his fault. Not
The
at all.
only this is
Not
their
at all.
record. Hold on. No, we're not gonna do this.
Solely his fault.
No, we're not gonna.
But
They got their ass whooped by the Nuggets. They win was against Trailblazers. They lost to the Jazz. Trash. They beat the Spurs. They beat the Magic. They got their ass whooped by us Lakers. Us Lakers.
Understandable.
Us Lakers.
Understandable.
And then Knicks beat them.
Yeah.
Nets beat they wasn't good before. Like
no.
they were losing and playing against horrible teams before he got there.
So why'd they make the trade though?
Huh?
Why'd they make the
Because they was losing. They was like, oh, we only really beating on these bad teams, and like that's what I'm saying.
But you need your role players. Role players take time to get
What
going.
they should
Y'all
have
gonna
did.
cost
They
me
should have
at least
never.
Yeah, don't do that.
I mean,
Don't
listen,
do it,
the
gang.
trade
Don't
is
do
the
it, gang.
trade, right? But to me, I just feel like they should have never got rid of Reggie Jackson.
Who?
Reggie Jackson.
10 years ago? When did they get rid of?
Reggie Jackson played for the Clippers.
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. But I feel like he was still a better point guard to play with PG and play with Kawhi Leonard because he knows them. So, like, I just feel like Kawhi Leonard and PG, James Harden isn't someone that's who they would go to work with.
But James,
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's at this point of their career.
But James is they have him at the actual 2. That's what I'm saying. The problem is he's trying to be a point guard still.
Well, that's what.
You have to be
So is that
a
on him now?
shooting guard.
And just looking at it, I look at Russell Westbrook, I look at James Harden. Those two like to have the ball in their hands. And this is why OKC even made it to the finals when they were young players. Russ was allowed to have the ball in his hands as the starter. Harden ran the bench. You know, he was pretty much like the sixth starter, but he was able to have free reign to kind of play his game, and it worked out for everyone. And also they had a young KD on the team. But when you try to get these guys, you know, after MVPs and averaging triple doubles and all the accolades that they have, these are different players at this point in their career. So to try to have them starting together is a disaster waiting to happen. Kawhi Leonard, as far as if you just want to break down issues that each and every player has, when you look at Kawhi Leonard, he's won 2 championships, right? He got a Finals MVP for helping contain LeBron in Miami, you know, to the best of his ability, and also as a lead player in Toronto. But if you look at the teams that he was on when he won it, there was clear leaders. Like he had Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, all those guys in his first title. Second title, Kyle Lowry. You would look at the Toronto Raptors and say that Kyle Lowry was the vocal leader of the team. And so Kawhi, he could just go out there and be the best player. But the vocal stuff and challenging players and different things like that, you had Kyle Lowry to do those type of things. So there's that. So I think, but I say that to say that's a weakness for Kawhi. If you're in a position where Kawhi is expected to be your vocal leader of the team and really galvanize the troops, it's going to be a long season for you. Paul George, I don't look at him as that type of leader that would be ideal for your team, but he has been the most consistent player for the most part, and I'm talking about as far as his availability. Although he's had injuries too, Kawhi has missed a lot of games, in the last few years, so that's a part of it too. And maybe that's what Gilbert is alluding to. You've had your stars miss a lot of games. You had that bubble debacle, which I'm seeing a lot of excuses for. I saw what Lou Williams said, was it on PG's podcast about, the bubble, and everybody heard it wasn't going to really count as a real championship, so they kind of just took their foot off the gas. But no, there's accountability there, as far as losing the way that you lost. It wouldn't matter if it's an AAU championship, whatever they want to call it. That's still looked at as one of the biggest failures of the Clippers, coming together. So when you look at the organization, then you got Russ, coming from LA. And Russ actually in the playoffs last year, Russ he was left to fend for himself against Phoenix, and Russ, he puts up big stats and he plays hard, but obviously, efficiency, turnovers, and different things like that at critical times in the game has been a thing that people have called into question about his production. So I think when you look at this roster, what are they going to do to figure it out? Because I saw James Harden trying to make some of the passes, off the pick and roll that you would make to Joel Embiid to Ivica Zubac, and that's not going to work. You don't have Embiid no more, buddy. So it needs to just be a lob. It don't need to be nothing he needs to catch in traffic and show that he has hands and that he can catch any kind of pass and finish, because that's not who he is as a player. So they have some things to figure out on this roster. So I agree it's not all James Harden's fault. What I will say is that James Harden was not the ideal player to bring into this situation. You want to get, as far as I'm concerned, you want to get as much depth and get as many players as you possibly can, because you anticipate an injury from Kawhi. You anticipate an injury from Paul George. Like, at this point, you have to kind of prepare yourself for these sorts of things to happen, in my opinion. So, it's not all on James Harden, but I would say he was not the ideal players to bring into this situation. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.